What you mean I still gotta go to work? Who? Nigga, it's 13 feet of snow on the ground. I gotta shovel this driveway every day? Not I. No sorry, Bob.
I wake up to the sound of the same old clock. Tick tock, it never stops.
So I came across this video by the Clarity Project. Genuinely unskippable title, bro. What it's like to be in a coma. Shit. 5 years ago, I was in a medically induced coma for 2 weeks. Here's what I remember about that time. I always wonder that sometimes, like, you know, when you be in a coma, like unconscious, you always hear the stories about like, oh, you know, sometimes people can still hear what's going on. And they say like your hearing is one of the last ones of your senses to leave you when you eventually pass on. I always wondered if it was like really like any truth to that, because I never directly talked to anybody that's been in a coma or even ever really paid attention or heard any stories about it. So I felt like this would be an interesting watch. So let's go ahead and check it out together. Let's see what her story is. Let's take off.
So I was in a coma. Great conversation starter, I know. It's a complicated story. I had a surgery and it went bad and I got an infection and it attacked my lungs, and so then induced coma. So it was something called a medically induced coma. So I didn't just pass out. They actually gave me drugs and continuously gave me drugs for a good 2 weeks or so that I could be in this sleep state and they could try and heal me and get me to live.
I wonder if that's any different than just falling into a coma. Like being in a medically induced coma versus falling into a coma. Like how that affects this experience, like how much you remember and shit like that. Because I would imagine, at least in my own, with my own uneducated hypothesis, I would have to assume that under them certain medications, like it would have to safely, it's the safest way to put you in a coma, so to speak. So I feel like maybe the memories might be clearer on there, or they give you, I don't fucking even know what I'm talking about. Let's just listen to what she gotta say. It's late at night, y'all. Give me a break. I'm trying to record these videos for y'all.
So many dreams, so many stories. So here you go. This is what it's like being in a coma. First things first, everything that happens in the real world, you hear, you're aware of, you kind of know what's going on, but it goes through this weird...
I just said it.
Filter thing in your brain, and by filter I mean it's going through the drugs, and then it turns into something else once it like actually hits your consciousness. So example, I know a lot of people would come to visit and sit by my bed and talk to me. I heard my stepmom and my own nanny talking and all of that, and I heard what they were saying, but then in my head we were in like a girls' camp, like one of those like log cabin camps, and they were gossiping about one of the other girls. Really, they were just talking about like one of the nurses and something she had said, but like in my head they were like gossiping, and I was like in on it too. I was talking back to them, but I wasn't actually talking. And sometimes this
hold on, let me let her
so
finish.
much when I'm going and looking back like on the whole experience, I remember so clearly saying something back to them and being like, oh yeah, that Peggy. I didn't say anything. So it was like all a weird conversation in my head with everyone.
So it sounds like it could be like this, like at least with a medically induced coma, like a perpetual dream state. Like, cause you know, it sounds like a bunch of fever dreams. Like she heard the conversation, but her mind created a completely different scenario based on the reality that it was presented. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, but would you be able to have memories that vivid? Would you be able to, you know, be unconsciously conscious enough to hear if you just naturally fall into a coma versus being medically put under? I don't know, but that's interesting regardless of like the fact that a person could have these memories even though they this heavily sedated. I don't know. I just think that's crazy. That's a testament to how powerful our brains is, man, and our souls. Real shit.
And I wasn't even talking. Another thing that would happen was like uncomfortable positions that they would put me in. My brain would make up a story for why I was in those positions. At one point, they had to actually tilt the bed in something called Trendelenburg, which is like literally tipping you upside down. So there I was like upside down and like swollen like a balloon at that point. And in my head, I was like going in this weird like hammock thing. And
wait, what did she say that was called? How long can you leave somebody in this position? Can't the blood rush to your head like this? Somebody that knows something about medicine or science in the comments, let me know what's up with that. How long, like, this is like actual medical practice?
At one point, they had to actually tilt the bed in something called Trendelenburg, which is like
Trendelenburg, what the hell is that? So from what I'm seeing, it's mostly used to, it say encourage blood flow to the upper body. And it seems like it's only typical to do this for a few minutes because it's saying if you're only in the Trendelenburg position for a few minutes, you probably won't need to recover. But if you're in it for a longer procedure, it may take a few minutes to hours before you feel normal again. Yeah, so they do talk about the potential for, you know, the drift of blood flow towards your head and, you know, different stuff like that, the pressure it can put on your lungs, all of that and whatnot. So, but hey, apparently it's a medical practice. The more you know.
literally tipping you upside down. So there I was, like upside down and like swollen like a balloon at that point. And in my head, I was like going in this weird like hammock thing. And then I remember I got like my foot caught in the hammock, and so I was like hanging upside down. And I was like, this is so weird, why can't I move? Like I should just be able to pull myself up. But then logic doesn't really work very well.
That shit gotta feel weird. Just being in like a weird ass perpetual fever dream.
And the thing that kind of inspired a whole trip after I got out of the coma was all of my Alaska hallucinations. I've never been to Alaska. I've never like shown any interest in Alaska. But for some reason, while I was asleep, I kept going to Alaska in my head, and it was so beautiful. It was like pine trees and...
Y'all think that could be a sign? I don't know. Y'all believe in stuff like that? What y'all think that can mean? If you keep seeing the same thing over and over again, like in a situation like this where like you sedated or you, it's like you feel like this is your subconscious showing you something. Y'all believe in stuff like that? I don't know. But if you do, what the fuck could Alaska mean? If you keep saying Alaska over and over again, I don't know how people do it up there, bro. I couldn't make it, man. My pops was stationed in Alaska when he was in the military a long time ago, and he tell me stories about that shit all the time, man. Them temperatures, minus 30, man, get the fuck out of here, bro. No. What you mean I still gotta go to work? Who? Nigga, it's 13 feet of snow on the ground. I gotta shovel this driveway every day? Not I. No, sorry, Bob.
And I remember just like sitting there and just like staring at the most beautiful scenery ever for hours and hours, and there'd be like a little deer off in the corner, and it would be freezing cold, but I didn't care. Turns out I was getting ice packed the whole time, so I had a crazy high fever. And what they do for that is they put ice packs all around you. Like it's literally like the most advanced thing they can come up with. So being iced, I guess somewhere in my brain I thought like ice, Alaska, totally makes sense.
Dang.
One of the funny...
That's crazy how your brain will make connections like that even when you're not like aware, even when you're not doing. Our brains and our bodies do so much shit that like it's really amazing. Like how little effort we have to put in. Like think about it, bro. You don't have to put in no conscious effort to breathe. People live for 70, 80 years and breathe from the time they born all the way up to then. I'm talking about through sleep and all 24/7, and you never have to consciously think about it once. Our bodies is amazing, man. You don't got to remind your damn heart to send blood to your veins and your arteries to send blood back to your heart or whichever way it go. Like our bodies just know to do that, and even in a state like this, bro, that shit is crazy. Shout out to the Most High, whoever, whatever entity that may be. Shout out to the design, man. Just the human body design is crazy.
One of the funny things too was the way that people's voices, like if I liked the person who was talking and I felt safe there, it would affect what was going on in my head. And I didn't notice this at the time, but like once I came out, I kind of like studied the whole experience. But every time it was my mom or my dad or people that I loved, it was someplace beautiful and it was comforting. And when it was people that I just kind of barely knew, it was always strange and I had no idea where I was and I felt kind of lost. And actually gets me thinking a lot about how that happens on a regular basis, even when we're not on crazy drugs. Like how do the people that we're around and the experience that we're in influence our brain and our minds and how we see the world? Like pretty much being in a coma is just like a very magnified and intense version of our own dreams. And so what can we...
That's what I was thinking. It's like a dream state. You know, but this part though, bro, could you imagine waking up from some shit like this and then coming back to reality? I bet that adjustment period is fucking crazy. For like the first like 12 hours, probably a whole day, you don't know what's real. You don't know whether you're dreaming. You just in and out of. Oh man, that's got to be wild. But it seemed like it saved her life. So shout out to them doctors. Shout out to whatever procedure they put her through. It seemed like it helped her out a lot. So man, shout out to this girl. What her name? Claire. Shout out to Claire, bro.
Learn from them, and what can we learn about ourselves? And I learned so much from that experience. I mean, first of all, that I love Alaska, apparently. But second of all, I really love, like, it showed me who I care about and who makes me happy, and how the world can be manipulated so easily, and how our own minds can be manipulated, and we can really believe so much. I don't know, talking about it kind of makes me happy in a weird way. You wouldn't think that, but yeah. So if you have any more questions.
That's what's up, man. I like that. I ain't gonna lie. That was a short little video, but I enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Getting some insight on what it's actually like to be under and have your like subconscious doing all the work, and what your mind will create when there's no imagery, when there's no action, there's nothing for it to intake. It'll do some wild things. But that's the video, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below in the comments, and I'm gonna catch y'all in this video. One love. It's made.